Hi, welcome to the StockinetteZombies. I'm Amy, also known as Jane Itma.
And I'm Megan, also known as Just Run It, and this is episode 260. Yeah, it's been a while.
Yeah, it has.
Yeah, so if you guys don't follow us on Instagram individually, I would encourage you to do so. But also, we've been doing little mini-sodes. You did a couple of Ask Me Anythings, and I did a What I Packed for Rhinebeck episode to kind of make things, to fill in the spaces where we aren't able to get together as easily these days.
I saw yours went on TV, IGTV.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and mine were the live kind.
Yep.
So I was like,
Yeah,
I got to
mixed
figure out
media.
the difference.
Yeah.
I know that I liked the live because I got, interaction because
Mm-hmm.
people were asking me questions and I could read, like, oh, look, somebody I know joined. Hello,
Yep.
So that was nice.
Mm-hmm.
I thought it went well. It's not got the same number of eyeballs. I think when I was doing it, I got like 40 some people, and then over the course of the 24 hours, I picked up another 100.
And you
or so
were,
more.
I mean, again, I'm not, it wasn't like midday or anything, right? I mean, it was at a time where maybe even East Coast people might be in bed,
Yep.
right? So 40 is quite a lot.
Yeah, no, I mean, I'm not
Yeah.
not interested in the numbers. They were fascinating. I'm not worried about them.
Yeah. Yep. But yeah, mostly I will say that I'll shoulder most of the blame. My employer had a big rollout, the second big rollout. And so my husband was in command centers, and those command centers were generally from 6 p.m. to 6 a.m. And so then I was trying to entertain kids, get them to soccer games, bicycling practices, bicycle competitions, as well as shouldering my own command centers. And so soccer is officially done. Last weekend was the state championship in Mankato for biking. And so other than, I think Ellie will probably do the school play again,
Okay.
which is Fiddler on the Roof.
Fun.
Yeah. If I were a rich girl, that I think, things have kind of settled down a little bit. Still kind of playing catch up on housework and Jeremy traveling for work and me traveling for knitting, and all of that kind of seems to coalesce into a lot of housework being left undone. But yeah. Went to Rhinebeck. Rhinebeck was super awesome. It was, I would say it was probably about the perfect weather. Saturday was really nice. Sunday got quite a bit cooler, like a cold front moved in. But everybody was out in their beautiful sweaters. We put a plug out for Christy Glass's Tell Me About Your Rhinebeck Sweater. It's always fun to see the proud individuals. And I was super surprised to happen upon her, and then she asked me, and it was like I felt ambushed. I was like, normally when we sit down or when I decide to record, I understand what I'm going to say and I really think through it, and I was like, hi. So
You
the people that
spontaneous.
I wasn't. I thought I would do better than that on the impromptu kind of speaking, because I was super proud and happy with it, but I feel like there were a lot of people that were a lot better spoken about their sweaters than me. Maybe that's why I was the very last one in the video. So maybe
there was a reason.
Maybe she was like, maybe not everybody will get to this. I don't know. I was just like, yeah, it was not my normal. I was jokey with her, but I felt like I was more conversational and less like, this is my sweater and this is what the yarn I use and this is everything. Felt like an afterthought. Like I had never seen her tell me about your Rhinebeck sweater, which I have.
Yeah, well, and it was your sweater, so you were probably like, oh man, I have all these things I should have said,
Yes.
but I didn't.
Yeah.
It wasn't like you were wearing somebody else's sweater. That was your design.
It was, but she put a very nice. She asked, so that was the other thing. She had to prompt me for all of the information.
Oh, cute.
Right? She was like,
Very
so if
professional.
we're interested in finding out about what you eventually name this sweater, how do we follow you? Like, I don't know. I just look like such a rookie. And all these other people were super excited and, hit all of the points. And I was just like, oh, God, you can't even tell that I regularly podcast or irregularly podcast at this
Irregularly
point.
podcast, yes. That's way more accurate at this
Yeah, I was fairly well behaved on Saturday. I am not a Black Friday shopper, so I'm not going to throw elbows or if people are like trying to grab something while I'm looking at it, I feel like... So I didn't go into the World on Saturday. I didn't go into Miss Babs any of the days because she was really swamped. Well, yeah, I think 'cause she doesn't go to Stitches Midwest anymore, or maybe she doesn't go to any of the Stitches events anymore. Rhinebeck is her big, Rhinebeck is her big deal. I went with Karen to the Leaping Llamas because Karen had never seen the Leaping Llamas, and our group was kind of like, oh, you don't really have to go, and I was like, Karen, we must go. And she took all kinds of video where I'm like probably commentating, and she has to turn the sound off if she wants to watch them. Like, we need a tushy tickler, tickle, 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 because they get them to jump over by kind of. We didn't get to go to the Leaping Llamas. Oh, that's right.
We only went to Saturday, and it was
because those men folk. But yeah. Got to run into some wonderful folks. Thanks to everybody that stopped and said hello. And I'm sorry if I didn't give you the stitch markers that I made. I was doing a pretty good job out in the Ravelry podcaster meetup on the hill with handing them out, and a little bit at Indie Untangled. And then also I wanted to make sure to thank Sam Lavender Loon. Ran into her at the Rhinecliff Amtrak station and was talking to Mina, and she's like, my friend is coming to pick me up, and I had Lyft up, and it was not going to be particularly expensive to go into Socrates, but it was going to be an hour wait, so somebody was going to have to drive or get alerted or whatever. And so Sam rolls up, and Nina's like, have you met Sam? I was like, I know Sam! And I was like, do you have room for a hitchhiker? So I got to go to Indie Untangled, which was in a new venue, much airier. We didn't go to, did we go to Indie Untangled? We didn't. Mm-mm. No, I don't know. Did they even have it?
I'm not sure if they did.
Okay, yeah. Much better crowd control. Mm-hmm. So again, it wasn't there were 300 people in the first group that I was in, which seemed like a lot when we were all in there. But the venue was more wedding mood lighting. Mm. So I was glad that I was in the earlier group because I had sunlight. The later group would probably be a bit darker.
Gotcha.
Because you and I know from event planning that lighting is very important because people want to be able to see. So when we were in the really dark Elizabethan ballroom, people that was a concern. Right. And so I would think that would be a concern with that venue as well, but I don't think they can get it for next year anyway. So,
okay.
Yep. And then went to Needles Up after that briefly. Got to talk to Sue, part of the Legacy Fiber Arts podcast.
Okay.
And she was she's always very kind and makes time to, I knew she was overwhelmed just like we are at our event, and was very kind to stop and talk to me, and got to see the little one. She's super cute, and was very Mom. all of these aunties, right, were like, yeah, look at you, you're so cute. Yeah, got to see Amy Beth, got to meet her daughter.
Oh, okay.
So it was a whole family. Her parents, her daughter and her were there, so that was good. And then spent the tail end, took the train back up to New York City, and spent a couple days with my brother. Had my first celebrity sighting in NYC, but could sense that my brother was very
don't
celebrities are people too, and they deserve their privacy, and don't try to take an inadvertent or a nonchalant picture or stop them. Yeah, Justin Long.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
I had to picture him for a second.
Yeah. Okay. So the people that I talked to, I know him. The first time I became a fan of his was Dodgeball. But then he was the boyfriend in The New Girl. Yeah. And he was also Mac in the Mac versus Microsoft commercials. Do you remember those?
Oh,
Some of the geeks that I work with, that
Right.
was what resonated with them. And so he's about my height, and he was standing near Chelsea Pier outside of like a restaurant, whatever, was kind of checking his phone and things where people were driving by. And I don't know, I talked with Matt about it later, because I was like, I think that's Justin Long, and I could immediately sense him like tensing up.
Yeah.
Please don't talk to him. Please don't be embarrassing. Don't try to like veneer a picture of him, you know. He was like, I don't know. He may be like a low enough celebrity that would have been like made his day, right? Like, you don't think so? I don't know. I'm such an extrovert. I love it when people stop me at Rhinebeck and talk to me and know me and whatever.
But it's such a smaller scale
Yeah.
than for people who
Watch those type of watch the shows that he's in, and anyway. So, but yeah, first celebrity sighting.
When I was there in New York, my first time in New York, I got my first sighting.
Ooh.
It was Carson from Queer Eye.
Oh, huh.
And he was walking in gym clothes, probably going to some gym that I didn't even notice when I was walking past.
Mm-hmm.
And then Matt and I were standing at the stoplight after he passed, and we looked at each other and went, "That was the guy from Queer Eye, right?" Okay. Like we both had that moment where we're like, "I thought he was a celebrity, right?" Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay. We agree. We know who that is.
Yeah.
Okay.
And you didn't stop him, and you
No.
didn't ask for a picture or
No.
a selfie or yeah.
No.
Yeah. I did have some folks that were like, if there's no picture, there's no proof, and it wasn't him. But I was like, whatever. I acted like the consummate New Yorker. I just walked past him and was like, I just saw a celebrity.
Yeah, and he can forever be Justin Long in your mind. If you have a picture and people say that's not Justin Long.
Well, the fact that I was like, I didn't realize he was like my height, because he's so skinny and long, right? His last name is Long.
So did you?
I did. I Googled it, and he is about my height. So I don't know. I'm pretty sure it was Justin Long. But yeah. Anyway, that was fun. It was fun.
And then getting really high.
Maybe I'm getting a little flushed. I think he's cute. And then you went to Mississippi.
Yep. Witnessed my friend Amber getting married. So this college friend, and it was her one and only marriage. So I was excited for her. Yeah. It was an adventure getting there.
Yeah. You said that there weren't a lot of close by airports or...
Yeah, well, I mean, it's really expensive to fly into Jackson. It's like flying into Rochester, but on steroids. I mean, as far as like how much money it costs. But we paid the money because I didn't want to fly and drive 4 hours in the same day, and there wasn't enough time to not do that. And so we did it, but the connections in DFW were too close. We made the plane, but our luggage didn't. So then had 2 hours to wait for our luggage to get onto the following plane, which we may or may not have gotten a seat on, so I'm glad we made it on the plane. The luggage fit in with the rest of the luggage just fine. And then when we got to our rental car, I had booked the wrong location, so we had to go up and down the thing looking for a car, and then when we got the car, it was like twice as much as my original booking because I had booked in the wrong place, and if I had just been paying attention, or I don't know. But you figure you put in an airport as where you want to rent a car from. Why is it showing me a location that is 30 miles from the frickin' airport? I was very upset.
I experienced that as well with New York City, because I flew into New York City because it was much cheaper than trying to fly into Albany and arrange whatever. And so I was going to try to stay near Amtrak, where Amtrak is at Grand Central Station, instead of trying to get on the subway and deal with all of that the morning of. I had an 8 o'clock train. And so I brought up, I Googled, hotels and whatever, put in the correct date. It said, oh, you have Hilton, the Hilton app on your phone, and launched it and whatever. And so it was really inexpensive. I was like, yep, I'm going to stay there. Clicked OK, and immediately got noticed in the confirmation it had reset the day to today. So I had booked a hotel room in New York City today, and they have a 48-hour cancellation policy, even if you book it for the day of. And so I'm like, it's been 10 minutes ago. Can you just refund it to me? And it was your app's fault. Like, it reset the date, kind of like you. Like, why did your app show me a location 30 miles from where I put in, right? Why did your app show me a date that wasn't the date that I was looking for? So, yeah, I had to, it was probably about an hour of fighting with them to be like, I will possibly contest these charges if you don't give me a refund. Well, let's book it for the day you actually need. Well, the day I actually needed was $300 more, which was, 200% more than I was planning on spending.
Wow.
Yeah. So it was a thing. So I get the struggle is real. Yeah. And I was like, if I wasn't IT savvy, and somebody that like looked at the date and made sure that everything was okay, like I would have just gotten screwed, right? Like that would have shown up on my credit card, and I would have been like, and then I would have showed up in New York City, not at a hotel room.
Yeah, I had that with a booking that I did with the Marriott, and again, this is not the hotel. It's just that I had booked 4 days, and they told me at any time during my stay I could take that last day off. So like the day before, I was, it was a little bit close to that 24-hour window, but since I was already staying at the hotel when I made that, it was just adjusting the reservation. And they said that this would be just fine. Everybody assured me that this was awesome and it's gonna work. Well, I did all of it, and my friend had rebooked the room because she wanted to use her points, and this is, this was the reason, right? Instead of having to pay me back cash, she wanted to book under her points so she didn't have to buy it. So we do all of this. Everything seems to be fine and okay. And then I check my credit card statement at the end of the month and go, oh, nuh-uh. That day was then charged. And I was like, oh, this is way too much money for me to just let go. Yeah. So I called them and I was very upset. And it took a while, but they did refund it because they remembered us. We were not unmemorable. my friend Tanya is an African American lady who had a blonde mohawk at the time. So we were not without distinction.
So what brought? Never mind. We need to get to the actual knitting. I was like, what brought that up in the conversation? Like, do you remember us?
Well, no, I was talking about how this is why you double charged us, right? Like, I was supposed to not get charged, and she already paid with points. So we got charged twice for one room. Regardless of who mucked up what, I would prefer we only got charged once, no matter what you have done to me. Yeah. Why did we get charged twice for one room? And then he's like, oh, I remember you guys. Just because we were at the counter that day making all of these plans because she wanted to use points and da-da-da-da. And again,
just randomly got the guy that remembered.
Yes, it was a thing. Well, I had to call the hotel itself. The international or whatever number wouldn't handle it. So we did, and they remembered us. we were not without,
And you said you went to an LYS while you were down there?
I did. Excellent. Yep. So she had a fabric upholstery business and a yarn business. The yarn business was around 2 years old, but she seems to be taking it gangbusters. So that was the whole 9 yards in Vicksburg, Mississippi, and she's organizing Mississippi retreats and events. So if you're in Mississippi and you might have heard of some of her events because she's been starting to get organized and do all of that stuff. So
I chuckled because my brother made fun of me. It was like, all this knitting stuff, it has, like, the store names have to be punny, right? And I was like, yeah, and I don't know if that's what draws me to them or not, but yes, they are very punny. Yeah. All of the names are like Hank and Pearls and Nitty City, and like they're playful. All right. So Administrati, we need a September and October Happy Scrappy. So I pulled 6 names. There are 4 prizes here, and then the pattern prizes. So anything that's available in my downloads. which now includes the Minnesota 52 patterns.
All right.
Yeah,
Very cool.
yeah. So if there was one of those that tripped your trigger, I really recommend the Love Always for an Advent calendar type knit, or a minis. It's a good. You knit one, right?
Yes.
Yeah, good for minis and scrappies. All right. So the 6 numbers are 277, not 7, 277, 293. 72, 32, 79, and 326. So, those numbers again. 277 is mostly munchies. She did some very pretty socks with coordinating heel and toe, I believe, and perhaps maybe striping of scrappies. 293 was Whistlin' Liz. 72 was Ting Ting Knits, beautiful yoked sweater that used up some scraps at the top. 32 is Knitting O Taco, T-A-K-U, Takao, Taku. I don't know how to, I say everything phonically.
Okay.
So, sorry. 79 is Ed Harley. And 326 is Hazy Summers.
All right.
So, contact me if you are interested in outing bulky by Unwind Yarn Company. I grabbed this one. She very generously sent something for Amy and I and you guys. This is the goldenrod colorway, and I think that this bulky would knit up really nice as a gift knit. Just boom boom.
Yep.
Right?
Insta gift.
We also have Show Me Yarn in the Winter Woolies colorway.
It's a self-striper.
Yes, self-striping. Christmas cookie bag, and a yarn ball, sheep yarn ball, by the Silver Shed USA, and I believe this has some stitch markers from, oh gosh, it's Steph, and I just saw her at Rhinebeck. Why can't I think of it? It'll be in the past show notes. She's knitting Samurai, but that is not what the stitch marker shop name is. No, Adore Knit.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Because I adored it.
More punniness.
Adore knit. Adore knit. Yes. So yeah, please contact me via Ravelry. Send just run it as a on Ravelry a PM with your choice and the order in which those choices are received. I will grant you your yarn or bag or pattern wish. With 6 of them, I don't know. You could send your address if you picked one of the ship items, but just wanted to, I don't know. I guess you have a 4 in 6 chance of me needing your address. So
That gets to you quicker if you just give it to her right away.
It does, because otherwise there's the delay between the two. Hey, we're both wearing our Never Lost together. So.
Oh, very fun.
Yeah, we didn't coordinate, I promise.
No, it was definitely a, I don't want to wear tall socks today situation, so these are my shorties.
Yeah, I need to knit myself some more longer, calf level socks, because I've started wearing my socks when I'm out running. So over the top of leggings, and especially now that it's chillier outside.
Well, there you go.
Yeah, I had some ones from Target that were wool socks, but they were store-bought. I should be repping the knitters. Yeah. Although the other day, this is a horror story, a Thanksgiving, a Halloween horror story for you. You can gasp if you want. But in the morning, I was getting ready really quickly, and I was like, I should go grab a hand knit sweater. And I just had my big, it's knee length, big, super smushy, got it at Target, probably made out of a wool acrylic blend, big black sweater. It was uniform for me prior to knitting a lot of bigger sweaters, right? That a cardigan I could throw over. And I just decided, nope, I don't have time to run back and pick something that coordinates with this outfit. I'll just wear the store-bought one. And lo and behold, getting on an elevator, That same day, a gal dropped her latte, and it was like not in like a you brought it from home mug. It was in a store, whatever, and the top popped off, and it just went whoosh all over me. So like the store-bought sweater is just like dripping with coffee, and the front of me is like covered in coffee, and there's just like this huge puddle, and she's like, "I'm so sorry," and I was like, yeah, it happened. I mean, like, there's nothing that you can do about it at this point, right? So I ran to the bathroom and tried to, like, sop up as much as I could, and still went to the meeting just, like, reeking of coffee. But yeah, I was like, thank you for not being on my hand-knit sweater.
Right.
It was like I knew. My knitter senses were tingling that I shouldn't wear a hand-knit one.
Yeah, not today. Not today.
Not today. It's gonna get covered in coffee. Somebody said, well, at least it smells good. Coffee smells good. And I was like, or it could be, I mean, it was a latte, so it was like not black coffee, which I guess it was probably colder that way. Probably should be glad that I didn't get burned. But then it's gonna start smelling, right? It'll smell like curdled milk or whatever. And then there are people, I don't know why, but they don't like the smell of coffee. To me, it's like what heaven smells like.
Heaven smells like coffee.
For me. For you, it can smell like something else. Like, I don't know.
Something.
Yeah. Banana bread. My house smells like banana bread now. I made banana bread covering up the smell of bacon, which he made for breakfast.
Ooh.
Yeah. We're fancy, yo.
Fancy day.
Yeah. I fed a little bit of it to Sullivan, and became his best friend briefly, and then we went, it's dogs that you're not supposed to feed ham to, right? And Jeremy's like, oh, the little piece that you fed him, it won't hurt him. Because I think it hurts their livers. Like they can't process anyway, sorry. Misinformation. I'm sure you're all like, yes, we know we have dogs. You're not allowed to give them ham. But I don't know if it's bad for cats or not. He seems to be okay. Hopefully I haven't done any long-term damage. All right, finished objects?
I didn't bring any.
Okay.
I could look up and see if I did have any, but no, I didn't bring any.
All right, I've got a plethora. So, like I said I was going to do, I, at the very last minute, decided to knit myself a Rhinebeck sweater. I am completely in love with this chevron motif. So you saw that I knit a hat out of it the last time, and then I knit another hat that coordinated with the sweater. It is a really fun, so this is not color work. This is just that same motif that's in the shawl. And then it radiates out. So you're doing, instead of decreasing away those increases, you're letting them be. Which is what causes the chevron in it to stay the same on the hat and the shawl. But the thing that I really like about it is it's kind of like a yoked sweater, but because you've got these stronged bias sections, it's almost like a raglan as well. So I had the increases line up with the armholes, which took a little bit of doing. And then it's a little more obvious when you look at it, but then you unbias the bias out before continuing in the round. And then, as I mentioned in my prep video, I really hemmed and hawed about this hem. I didn't want to have it be ragged, like undulating, and kind of settled on this. I really like how it highlights. It's matching, but not completely matching with the top. It's similar, but not the exact same. And this is made out of brown sheep. They're prairie spun, and it is delightful. It's a really nice, okay next to skin, but doesn't have, has kind of the rusticness of a non-superwash wool. Washed up really nice. Again, I have a magical washing machine that I set on the lowest setting, and it just kind of whooshes the wool wash, and then lets it sit and drains, and then spins a little bit, and then but I did take pictures prior to washing it, and I do always kind of say a little prayer when I do that, especially when I didn't have like a backup plan for Rhinebeck, right? But this one, I wore this all over because it was kind of my outer layer, so it was my Saturday sweater, and then I wore it all over New York City. I was wearing it when I had the brush with Justin Law. He's infused in it now. I'm blushing a little bit. But yes, I had the hat. And then last minute I decided to do some mittens. My group in the house that I stayed in Saugerties got to see me rip out the thumb about 1 billion times as I was trying to figure out how to finish it. This one's a little poofier than that one, but after you've done the gusset, you can't undo it. Right. So I got both of them to that point. They're very smushy. I wouldn't say that they're, like, you would have to knit them at a much tighter gauge to get them to be like super Minnesota winter, okay, or put a liner in. Okay. I sometimes put other like skinnier mittens inside of the mitten. But that was all with what I bought as a sweater quantity. Of the blue, I initially started out thinking I was going to do the main body as gray, but then decided that I liked this color too much. Too much.
So you relegate it to the secondary color.
I mean, you can see how it would have knit up. Yeah. No, yeah. This part would have been the same. It just would have been the gray filled in. Yeah, I felt like it maybe emphasized the top part too much. I wanted it to be more of a cohesive. If it were gray on the bottom, I would have felt kind of unbalanced. I don't know. I pretend like I understand color theory, but most of it's just kind of gut feelings. But yeah, unapologetic knitter, Megan, another Megan, but she's got all of the letters in hers, stopped me and asked me about the armhole, and I didn't give her a very good answer at the time, but then I kind of thought through it, and it is a yoked sweater with kind of a raglan-esque armhole. She was like, wow, that fits really nice on you. I do have very broad shoulders. I know when I say that, some people are like, you don't, but like I had to take the shoulder pads out of garments when I was younger, and when I took the Amy Herzog class, like
she's very hanger shoulders. Just straight out from her.
Yep. So kind of like I'm not comparing myself to a model, but that's the stereotypical, like all clothing looks good on that form. So a lot of the runway models have very broad shoulders because it looks like it does on the hanger. So yeah, you're going to see a lot of chevrons. I also knit a cowl that matched with what I had left of the hat that I talked about last time. I very purposely did it this way. It probably could have had it more like the mittens where it's finished the same, but I kind of liked that if I wore this side up, it emphasized the arrows this way. If you wear the green side up, then it's emphasizing the green arrows. And then you could also do some tucking if you really didn't like the way that it was finished. But yes, lots of chevrons. I also took the swing left hat and I knit, this is left over from my portage. It's When Doves Cry by 3 Irish Girls, and did a swing left in monotone and then dual tone. These are BFL from Sun Valley Fiber. BFL DK. Yeah, kind of takes on a crowny feel. When you're really emphasizing those whooshes. But you can see the textured sections in both of them pretty well. And then while I was at the event, I was trying to design a sock for an upcoming collaboration, but didn't have a lot of success, and so I just had a textured, albeit almost like a sock head, but without knitting it, and with some skips and some garter in between. This is Lush by Queen City. She gave us those skeins, and I had started some socks for Jeremy out of it, and wasn't liking the motif that I was coming up with. It wasn't showing, and I can't find my running hat. I had a kind of fluorescent yellow and gray, almost like a grello mix that I did the skip rib sock modification to a sock head hat. And I can't find it, so I've just been wearing this one around everywhere. It was what I always go for as a knitter for Halloween. So I've been wearing it almost constantly. Which, I don't know. Do you watch Parks and Rec? I've been watching it as my there's nothing to watch at 1 o'clock in the morning on television show. And one of the gals threw a Halloween party, and she's a nurse, and all the doctors came as doctors, just wearing their normal stuff that they. It's like, how lame is that? So me going as a knitter is pretty lame, but. And then, last but certainly not least, I got two things here. So I finished last time my full circle out of Bugga and Leading Men Fiber Arts, because I have to have acid trip in every shawl that I make. This one did not go with me, the other full circle that the kits through with Jan Smiley and Copper Corgi. There's a few left if you're interested. Went with me, but Ellie kind of wanted to lay claim to this, but I don't know. I don't know if I wanted to have it.
It's too fancy for
Well, it's green. Oh no, green and pink. Okay, last but certainly not least, when I ran into Sam, she was like, I really want to have your down the road and back again shawl done for VKL, but I don't think it's going to happen. And I said, well, send it to me. And she's like, really? And I was like, yeah, well, I'll knit it up. So this is her sport base, which is super buttery and smooth and soft. So I got in the mail a little starter, that end.
Oh, okay.
a little starter of a shawl where she'd taken her needles out and sent it to me. But this is, oh goodness, I'm going to look at my phone and tell you what the colorways are, because they are super stunning together. One is Granny Panties, and the other one is Idea of Her. Yeah, aren't they pretty together?
Yep.
It's like a little happy rainbow, but it's like disguised. It's not like overly. There's reds in there, there's yellows in there, there's greens in there, there's blues in there, there's browns in there. Yeah. But no modifications to the pattern. I didn't change any repeats, obviously, because she just cast it on. Size 6 instead of size 5. And this is what you get. But yeah, lots.
And she had enough, because you stop at the boomer, you have to weigh it.
Yep,
Gotcha.
halfway pay. Which was interesting because I was doing math games because I didn't weigh it prior to putting it back on the needles.
Right.
So I was like putting both on, and the needles and the shawl bit, and then went, okay, I have like 224 grams. And so I played a little bit of yarn chicken and really just split it down the middle, even though those needles were in there. The pattern advises you to go to 40-ish% before you do the work even rows. But if you're like me and feel like you'll risk it. Which I risked
it on mine.
Yeah.
I'm on the back again, but I am a little nervous.
Yeah. You can it doesn't really, I mean, if you had a little longer, you could have a little bit of longer bit on one side, or you could just rapidly decrease, right? At the very end, just go, instead of just decreasing one stitch every 2 rows, I'm going to do 2,
The thought crossed my mind.
Okay.
Because I was
She's
how am I going to make this
I know
work?
the designer. She's going to tell me how to make it work. So yeah, this has been blocked, and I have to decide whether or not I'm going to try to put it in the mail or get it to her just on Saturday while we're there, which we did not talk about.
Yeah.
Ugh. So we're going to be at Vogue Knitting Live next weekend. We're staying up there and would like to have a meetup in our in the hotel lobby.
Yeah. So we're staying at the Hyatt, which is the Vogue Knitting Live hotel, so the one that they book through their registration. I was up there with Karen, and we had a meetup, and that went really well. Yeah. So sometime, post dinner time frame, between 7 and 8, start congregating down there and and then Megan and I, at some point, we haven't decided on what dinner plans are and things like that. I'm sure on our Instagram we'll put a little bit more formalized time once we know.
Yeah, and we'll
for sure.
have pins, so writing pins, and I'll have we've got some coloring books that we can bring, and so just to incentivize coming and saying hello.
Yeah.
It should be
Stop
fun.
by and say hello.
Yes.
Yeah, and definitely if you see us in the marketplace, we'll be telling you to come to the hotel later and hang out with us.
Yeah, but always stop and say hello. Don't do like my brother did with Justin Long.
Megan wants the attention.
I don't want the attention. I want to interact with people. Like I feel like it's an in, right, to have more people to talk to, right?
Oh, yeah.
Like I will randomly make comments to people. Like yesterday we were downtown and there were some ladies getting their pictures taken, a wedding party, and I was just like, "You all look so beautiful. A little cold, but a little beautiful." And I'm just the type of person that I want that conversation starter, and they'll say something, you know. At the coffee at Steam, I mentioned I was on a one-on-one with somebody on my team, and I mentioned, like, I get the almond milk because it's 0 sugar. I'm so happy you have it, and had this whole conversation with the barista about how oat milk is like the big thing now. Oatly is the brand, and she said, yeah, they have a specific one to a barista. And if I hadn't said anything about the milk, I never would have learned about Oatly.
Yeah. Are you trying Oatly now?
It has more natural sugar than almond milk.
Okay.
So I might, just as a, but I have been doing breves.
Oh.
If they don't
full
have
cow sugar.
Yeah.
Those are good.
Yeah. Well, half and half doesn't have any natural sugar in it. I'm pretty sure.
Lactose.
Yeah, but like not like sugar. Like I'm yeah.
Okay. There's nothing added to it, but it's got a lot of sugar in it.
I don't think so. Not half and half. It's like the milk fat. I looked online because it's the keto diet. Like they do half and half.
Okay.
Amy's shaking her head and saying okay at the same time.
Well,
But
and again, I trust that. It's just I've had breves. They're
not sugary. They are a meal in a cup. They are caffeine and like so much fat. Like you just feel satiated for like 2 days off of the amount of fat that is in that milk. Yeah, half and half. Yeah, so good. My brother and I had one in New York City on the night before, which in hindsight was a bad idea. The night before my train, so we met up and he's like, I'm like, oh, Starbucks has sugar added in their almond milk, and he's like, well, why don't you get a breve? And he convinced me, like they Googled it and everything, that there was not sugars in it.
Gotcha.
So anyway, I digress. Those are all of my FOs, which I'm sorry, that was a lot. I probably should have edited, but I don't have a lot of whips to talk about. So.
Okay.
I do have a lot of purchases though.
So yeah, we need to wrap this up before too late. I'm gonna get hungry. My Nanny Swimo project, I have Rock the Lobster started. It's color work. I'm working it in something I bought at our LYS. It's an Imperial yarn.
It's not there.
American wool tradition. Yeah, our LYS is no more. This is the Tracy 2-ply sport. Teal shadow and white.
Is that a DK? Oh, you said sports.
Yeah. So I started this the November 1st and have made quite a bit of progress. So there's that.
It's a steeked cardigan.
Yes, it's going to be steeked. You can see the steek portion. And that's where the really long floats are. She didn't tell you to lock them down, so I'm like, ooh, this will be interesting. But yeah, I'm noticing that that's kind of where it's puckering. But really long floats will do that to you.
It will.
And yeah, so I'm about halfway through the color work portion. I don't have any more increases to do, so this is the widest part that it's going to be. So that's Rock the Lobster. I can kind of see if I can show. All I can see is white from this far away, but there is blue in there too. And then I did look on my phone while Megan was talking about her plethora of FOs, but I did finish my sock arms sweater, which I should have totally mentioned, but I forgot. So,
another time.
Yeah, in Nanny Swimo overload fashion, I decided to cast on 2 of the sweaters that I have in progress. So I also cast on, which you'll recognize, I think, making the exact
we could
same
wear them
thing
together. Hazelnut.
Yeah, and you have. Is that just those 2 colors?
Yeah.
Okay. So then I will also add the brown arms to the league. But this is the front or the back, I don't know. It's a pieced garment. It's a Jared Flood cooperative pattern. I don't know who actually wrote it, so it's, Brooklyn Tweed cooperative. And yeah, I really.
That's the one with the very distinctive, like, not
Yeah,
saddle
color
shoulders,
block.
but color blocked, like,
Yeah,
piece.
there's color block. This gray is just on the little bit that's right here that goes under your armpit, and then there is a saddle block that goes from the top down to down the arm. Yeah. So
So what's your lighter gray?
it's a gray.
Okay.
I
Mine is
don't-
rain shower, and this is Barrett wool. They're woolen spun.
Yeah,
Quaker gray.
Quaker gray.
Yeah,
Yeah, yours
I
is
think-
definitely lighter.
I think I had the Quaker gray and decided that this was the better contrast. I
Yeah,
also
it
had like
probably is
a
for
pink
color
blush that I tried to convince myself that might be good. You made the same face that my family did. I was like, maybe it'll make it a little more feminine.
Oh, and actually, this is Monarch. So it's a little bit.
Yeah, mine's a little redder, I think.
Yeah.
Hazelnut versus Monarch.
So yeah, but they look very close in color. Wear them together for sure.
Are you going to have it done by Vogue Live?
No, God, no. If you have that done, more power to you. I will not.
I have not been sleeping a lot lately.
Okay.
If I've mentioned.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Well, this is 1 day of progress for her, so it's not even.
That color work is super addicting.
It is. I will contest because I too have had Rock Lobster has been like I want to work on that and not the color block, even though the color block is really close to being done with the one piece. And I got some sort of fuzzies in my nose.
Down the road and back again.
So this is my down the road and back again. So I was working on this like gangbusters before Nanny Swimo started, and I got to the back again. But I was trying really hard to, what is the word? The yarn chicken, right? So I did a lot of like, there was a lot of knitting on this when I didn't have a scale present, and I was kind of like, am I close to that percent? Am I close to that percent?
Yeah.
So I put it down when I should have just kept knitting, right? And so I ended up measuring it when I got back, and I actually did have 55 grams on each ball, but I don't know where I started. So 55 grams should be half, but it might be more. So the back again is gonna have some yarn chicken.
Sometimes the road back home is a little
Yeah,
more treacherous.
it's gonna be bumpy. So yeah, I have quite a bit of stitches left to take away, and I was getting to the point where I was like, oh, I'm almost to 50 left to take off, but there's 50 on there, so it's like, oh, okay, well, here we go.
Yeah.
But do I have more repeats than the one you had? Like the. I think so. Feels wider.
Maybe
it's
she
'cause
did
of-
do less. I guess I just assumed she did it to pattern. 1, 2, 4, 6, 8, 9. I was counting.
2, 4, 6,
8, 10, 11. So she must have taken some off.
Yeah. So mine
there
is
was
definitely-
modification.
Okay. Oh, I was looking at it and I go, that's sport and it looks skinnier than mine.
Yeah, sorry. That's me trying to say that.
But then again, once I block this, it will get.
But that says something about the pattern that I could just pick it up and do it.
You didn't even know you had the
Less
different
stitches.
amount of stitches. Yeah.
Yeah. Huh. But yeah, again, in the pattern, I advise you to turn before the 50% because you're only decreasing 1 stitch every 2 rows. So if you forget to
Yes, if you
decrease
forget,
that,
that's a lot of yardage.
yeah, that you're adding,
Yep.
and that you still have to decrease away at the end, So there are some people that are like, oh, I got to the end and I had like, this could have been a longer shawl. And I'm like, or it could have been a shawl where you ran out of yarn, right?
Yeah.
Like, I guess, again, I'm not going to, as the designer, encourage you to play yarn chicken. So.
No, I know this. I was knitting without a scale. Like, basically I had it with me, but I didn't bring my scale because it went down to Mississippi with me. And so I played that yarn chicken. I got to the point where I thought I was like, I can't go any further without a scale.
Yeah.
Put it away and started knitting on socks. But yeah, I was pushing it, and that is mine.
Yeah. And the more times you do that and like luck out, I feel like the more riskier you get, because I did that with this one. I didn't have the scale, and I was like, oh, I'll be able to knit on that a little bit if I have any spare time at a practice or whatever. And then I was like, no. I got home and it was like exactly at what I thought was 50%, and I was like,
yeah,
I really was close. Like if Ellie had been a little later at practice, different
right
story.
past it, yeah.
Would have been a different story. So,
but yeah, I think that
that's what you're going to show. All right, for Nanny Swimo, I just absolutely love Nanny Swimo. It's fun to say. Stands for National Knit a Sweater in a Month. It goes alongside with the Nanny Rhyme. It's National
Write a book in a month.
Yeah, write a novel.
Or a novel in a month. Yeah.
National WRI, write a novel in a month. Nanny Rhymo. Anyway, it's fun.
It's not our version.
No.
Our version's way cooler.
But I really enjoy that there's people that are really challenging themselves to knit a sweater in a month. I love the sweater love too. Like, I knit a lot of other things, but sweaters kind of pull on my heartstrings, because I feel like under your guidance, maybe, sweaters were kind of the thing that I aspired to and got into early on in my knitting career, right? Like, oh, sweaters. I can do that. I can make that for myself. Don't spill coffee on me. But I saw so many of these beautiful sapias. It's S-I-P-I-L-A. I think it's, if you pronounce the ya at the end, or it could be sapilla, I guess. Sapia. At Rhinebeck. And I bought some into the world, which you will see, that I was thinking I might, but I only got enough to really do the short sleeve, and I wanted to do a long sleeve. And I had bought these with my birthday gift card from my mom, these Barrett Wool Co., because she met Susan and loved her colors, and this hazelnut was singing to me. And so super love it. I'm almost through, I think I've got, I'm looking over here, 4 more rows of color work, and then it's just,
Oh, really?
I think so.
Oh,
Yeah.
Sad panda.
Yeah. I have been enjoying it a great deal. But should be able to zoom along on the stockinette.
I am looking forward to the zoom.
But yeah, so that's Rain Cloud and Hazelnut. In the pictures that I post, my camera wants to make the hazelnut a red. It is a reddy orange.
It does, like, because I did not see those colors from your pictures that you already took.
Yeah. So
I like the colors more in person. Put it that way.
Okay. And if you're a red person,
Kind of
then
foxy.
yeah, a little foxy. But yes, super loving it. That's by Caitlin Hunter. I would say between the Andrea Mallory one. Why can't I think of it? Oh man, those were the 2 sweaters of the event of Rhinebeck.
See, so far, Andrea Maurer, she does the ones that it's like kerchief, and people have been knitting
The night shift. And
night shift. Yeah. Yep. So that's been on my brain.
Yes.
Night shift.
Yeah. No, she knit one. Why can't I think of it? Oh, it's gonna bother me.
Okay.
It's like takeaway. No, it's not. You guys are screaming it on the phone, or at the. I'm looking at my phone.
But we do have purchases. Do we want to talk about them?
We do indeed. They had a whole meetup. It wasn't the bee one. They made a pin out of it. It's going to kill me, and you're like, no, seriously. Megan, we need to talk about our purchases. How about you get your purchases out, and
Right.
I'll try to
Throwback.
It's like back, whatever. But yes, a lot of throwbacks, a lot of Caitlin Hunter. I believe Sunset Highway was kind of last year, and these Sephias.
So these are the purchases I got from Mississippi. I got a Teeny Button Studios out of New Orleans. This is the Voodoo Queen colorway. Purple. It's very pretty. Mm-hmm. And then I thought that this one was appropriate. It's Dreaming of Rhinebeck, because you all were in Rhinebeck and I was in Mississippi.
Yep.
I got this colorway. And this one is from Mitchell's Creations. It's an indie dyer, and let's see, where was she out of? I think I looked it up, and it was still in Louisiana, but outside of New Orleans. And then she had some local dyers from Mississippi, like one of them, but she was really low on stock, and it was like one Mardi Gras-tastic colorway, and that is not, like a king cake color, with bright purples and yellows and what's the third color? Green. I did not like it.
I like purple and green.
But yeah, that king cake New Orleans Mardi Gras, it was very bright, and it just wasn't me. If she had had some other colorways from that woman, I'm sure I would have bought them, but because they were more Mississippi and local. And then I saw a coupon code from Suburban Stitcher. I saw that too. And so I got the Jon Snow colorway. And basically, I didn't know what I was going to do with them, but I knew that I needed at least two for whatever I was going to do with them. And I was going to get her kit that was for the shawl that has the mohair in it, but it sold out before I had made up my mind. So these fell into my cart. I think most likely they will either go into another one of those summer teas that Janice Fisker makes. Ficker.
No
Sorry.
S. Sorry.
Yeah, no S. And it could be one of those, or something else that trips my trigger before they get put on the needles. And I thought, yeah, it's really pretty. Not disappointed at all. Now, I had knit that sweater for Copper Corgi, Sarah, and I got a gift certificate from her for doing that sample knit. And so with my gift certificate, almost covered the whole thing, but not quite. I got a Jones Street Sport in the fig colorway and in the goldenrod colorway. And I think the only thing that disappointed me is that when I put these up on my phone, they looked more like Gryffindor colors. Like they were going to be Harry Potter enough, not like super Harry Potter, but enough that it would be like, oh yes, that's a burgundy and a gold. And it's like, no, this is a purple and a greenish gold. So I won't be making my Harry Potter dreams come true with them, but they're definitely pretty and look good together. So I'm not disappointed in that sense. But yeah, if they had been that Gryffindor adjacent color combo, it'd be already cast on, I think.
Yeah.
But now that it's not, it's like, oh, bummer, 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 bummer. She definitely had one on the screen that looked more red. And I was like, oh, that's too red, right? It's too red. But now I'm thinking, gosh, it might have gotten here and been perfect.
Yeah.
Just the way my phone was playing tricks on me. Because
It is tough.
sometimes I try to buy from, or I try to look at it from two different spots. And this time I just looked on my phone. And so I think that it could have been my phone as well as anything else. And then what I wanted to show is the Whole 9 Yards. So this is a Whole 9 Yarns. So this is Fab and More. That's her upholstery shop. And then the Whole 9 Yarns. It's Judy Busby. And then her Fiber Fest is called Fiber Fun in the SIP. So in the Mississippi. So in the SIP. It's Vicksburg. She had it at the Vicksburg Convention Center in September of this year. So if you are in the area along the Mississippi River near Vicksburg. Apparently she had quite a bit of attendance. She had a decent marketplace, and through chatting with her, she had heard of our marketplace.
Cool.
And because she was going to have a smaller venue, or this is her bigger one, and she was going to have a smaller one, and people were saying that she should do her market like we do. Short and sweet.
Cool.
So,
It is
whatever forums and threads she was perusing, our names came up. Yeah. So that was fun to know. And then I got a stitch marker that has Mississippi, the state of Mississippi on it, but I must have put it in my container of stitch markers already, so I don't have it to show you.
Got it.
But it is on my Instagram and had everybody tagged. So if you are curious about those things that I bought, everybody was tagged in there.
Cool. I will try to make it super quick. So I'm sorry if I'm not going in in depth. That's the words I'm looking for. As I could. Sam, when she saw me, asked me what I was going to do with these, and I do not know, but she did post a flash coupon, kind of as you were saying, the Suburban Stitcher, and this tweed was really calling my name. I enjoyed that the tweed is black and white, and that's juxtaposed to the colors. So it could be something like that, with something like that, or all of them together, or something like this. But the colors are Cobalt and Smoking Gun, Ethereal Ooze, and Aquafina. Like the rapper? No, it's not spelled like that. But yes. And that's from Lavender Loon, who
I've seen her in commercials lately, and I just go,
Aquafina.
She makes me smile.
She does. She's funny.
She's good.
She's good. This was a at the last minute purchase. Mark Tetro. I went and found him and tagged him on Instagram. But he does dogs in New York. And my brother has a little, is it Weltie?
Probably.
That looks similar, a adoption, not shop, probably mutt of a, but primarily presents as as that breed, and Westie. Words, it's getting late.
It's not, especially for you.
I know, but I feel like I'm getting hungry, and so I'm trying to
hunger brain.
You don't want to see me when I'm hungry, but I'm trying to kick it into fast forward, and the words aren't coming out as well as they should, and then I'm spending a lot of time explaining it, so I should probably just take the time to let the words come out. But Charlie. It looks like Charlie, so I've got a little, I don't know if I'll use this for toiletries or just like a on-the-go, little knit case.
Totally use that for toiletries.
You would? Yeah. I went to Shelly Can and got, she had a little fun Plinko. So if you bought enough to, I can't remember what it was, you got to drop a little ball, and then you got one of them for free. I gifted away the one that I got for free, but I bought this, I feel like knit from Shelly Can, and then this octopus with multiple yarn balls that he is holding on to. I wanted to get the shirt with this on it, and I still might try to find it on her website, but she was out of all of she only had extra smalls and extra larges. She didn't have anything in between by the time I got over there. And then this fun little coffee with a donut. So this was the only donut that I enjoyed at the New York Sheep and Wool Festival. But we have magnets on our fridge that I always update when I'm traveling places. I got a sticker. It was fun to play Plinko. And then I wandered into Duck Duck Wool, which I always see her stuff online and think it's absolutely wonderful. But then I also got to meet Sandra, and she was just darling. She's a runner. One of the gals that was there helping her with the booth was also a runner. Had a really fun interaction where the gal was saying, or Sandra was saying that one of her friends ran the Rochester Marathon. And I was like,
The Med City one?
I said that, I didn't say Med City. I think I said, I was counting off the ones I had done, and I said the Rochester one, and she's like, oh, I have a friend that did that, and it's really whatever. Later it occurred to her that it was a Rochester, New York, because she's from out east.
Right.
But I fell in love with a lot of things at her booth. Her little duck wool gal that's knitting. I don't know if you'll be able to see the enamel pin or not, but I got that. That she very generously gave to me. And then I couldn't decide on the combo. So either these two together, this is her DK base, DK Limited, Night Bokeh, or Be Bright, Be Berry. That's fun. Or this Be Bright, Be Berry combined with the Art Smock, which I think is just the perfect name for a speckle-tastic yarn. But I think they could all three be together with the purple in the middle somehow, or those two, or these two. And then as I was standing there, this one jumped out at me. This one is Snoopy Snow Cone Machine. And she had a lot of them knit up. So there was one above that I was like, ooh, and I can't remember what it was now. I must have that one. And she's like, that one's gone. But she had this one, and it micro stripes. So that's super fun. But yes, Sandra, if you ever give her any of your money, she is a super sweet gal. Can't say enough nice things about her. Probably spent way too much time in her booth, and then I hung out with the Leading Men Fiber Arts guys for a while I was wearing my Sheer Fun top.
That's fun.
Yeah, I was talking to them. Got to spend other people's money and stand there and be like, ooh, what are you gonna do with that? I don't know. It's fun. I enjoy. I'm a people person, if you haven't heard me say that at least 5 times in this episode. Also got a duck wool for spending a certain amount, I can't remember.
Oh, didn't even seem like you got that much, so that's cool.
Yeah. Well, 4 skeins.
Well, I know, but I don't know. 4 skeins.
4 skeins. And I also got a Lavender Loom sticker. She asked me if I'd gotten one, and I didn't. I came in early under the premise of helping her. I believe my name was Sharon.
Oh, Sharon.
Name tag. All right, I'm gonna be quick. So this was the Sapilla, whatever. I think it's probably Sapilla. That Trish got it, and I saw it in her bag, and I was like, well, I need that in my life. So if I chose to do the Sapilla out of it instead of the Barrett wool, wool and spun, I would have done it out of this, but I think it had to have been short sleeve with only 2 skeins of the main color. But this is Godric and Agree to Disagree. So Trisha and I are yarn twinsies there, and she's going to make, I think this is going to be stunning. May have to cast on another one. It's kind of crazy.
You are nuts.
Scissors Lizard Spock. I've seen this many a time. I've picked it up many a time. I picked it up, put it back. I went back to the booth with Trisha to get this because she had gotten it and thought it was really pretty. Then she saw me going, okay, now that I have 3 other skeins, I'm going to actually pick that up and decide to buy it. And then she got it too. So we totally twinned.
Yarn twin.
We totally twinned on Into the World. And then walking through the barns, I saw Gail's art. I saw the sock knit up, and I saw that it had my green in it. And so I got a Gail's art sock blank with sheepies and my greens. Cute. Yes, I believe this was the Electric Sheep Dancing, but I believe this was the Rhinebeck one. I think. I don't know. I'm second
They
guessing
usually
myself.
have words on them, but maybe not.
Maybe not. Yeah. Maybe it was just one that. There were like 3 rows of ones that were all the ones that she had done multiple of.
But it's super helpful to have them knit up when there's that sock blank kind of thing.
Fun Indie Untangled canvas bag that came with the entrance price with lots of goodies. Okay. Lots of goodies in here, like big things, right? Like our goodie bags, like pins and a tin from The Perfect Blend. We loved them because they were in Socrates. A tin stitch marker from Little Fox Yarn. Yeah. I don't have enough time to go through all of that. got a sticker for talking to Crystal Glass. Saw the wonderful, I'm trying to look for the actual card to hold it up, and now I'm not going to be able to find it. The wonderful Fiber Nymph at Needles Up, and she gave me her card, had it on it. Fiber Nymph Nightworks. This is Rhinebeckles in their speckle base, or her sparkle base. So, and lots of people gave me pins and cards, but again, I'm trying to be brief. I stopped a gal and told her how beautiful her shawl was, and she handed me the shawl pattern.
Oh, well, that was nice.
Yeah. So it's
maybe that was her plan. She's like the first person to compliment
she had
me.
a whole bunch of them.
Oh,
But I
okay.
mean, it's
nice.
It's like a plasticized, like nice pattern. It's in non-English, so it's hard for me to pronounce. But Trellis.
It says the Liz.
The Liz. Okay. A la Liz. A la Liz is on the front, but it's brioche-tastic and super squishy. Trellis.
I don't know.
That's not that's an R. Trellis. But I'm trying to think of what her name was. It was Trellis something. Trellis.eu. On Ravelry, she is Trellis. And then I think she also dyes yarn, maybe. Trellis Color is Power on IG. But yeah, super sweet of her. And like super profesh, right? Like,
Yeah.
That's the pattern I'm wearing. Here, have it.
Very nice.
Yeah. I believe it was this shawl. And then yeah, Amy was oohing and ahhing over the puppy.
What?
She said she was fun to work with. But yeah, that was my Rhinebeck haul. I've been trying to resist buying all the things since I've been home. Getting some stitch marker supplies tomorrow to try to make some to hand out at the Knitting Live.
Right.
Kind of feverishly working on a pattern or a sweater here to try to. I guess I could just wear this. I mean, it's a Rhinebeck / Knitting Live sweater.
Well, and it's your sweater though.
Yeah.
So that's
Oh yeah, and I forgot Bluebee Studio. Liz Doherty was wearing a beautiful sweater that she
it's very
that was debuting later. So but yes. Whew, that was a lot, but we hadn't podcasted in the whole month of October.
right. Shame.
Well, and I think it's because I said something about like if we really set a goal.
I know. Right.
And then we didn't.
And no, and I think I've been asking every week and a half or so since then, and Mayo has
but that's hopefully
snuck all your time
hopefully
away.
over. I mean, again, Jeremy is traveling to take Mayo classes because they need to use their dollars before the end of the year for epic training, but hopefully, fingers crossed, things kind of
even out. But it's holiday season.
It is.
I don't have high hopes.
Again, I'm not going to say anything because I jinxed us the last time. So, thank you for joining us. And again, thank you to anybody that's going to come see us next Saturday and anybody that saw me in New York and said hello.
Yep.
There's a small window of seeing us here, and it's often fun when it's interactive, like you were saying on the Ask Me Anything sessions. And
yeah, I think I'll continue with live ones. I don't like, well, I plan as in like I put all of my things around me, but I don't want to necessarily have an agenda that I need to fulfill, and I'll feel like obligated to edit it or something, right? Like, oh, if I fudge it and I have to, take some stuff out and just talk, say things that I'll regret, that'll be great. Yeah. So just keep a watch if you follow us on IG, JNitma, just run it.
and
I've been doing them from my own account.
Yeah, and it's been nice that for me to just a little snippet.
Yeah.
Right? Like,
Yes.
Like my sock one and how I overpacked for Rhinebeck. And so, yeah, when the schedules are crazy and we still have children that need cared for and houses and jobs and whatever, so it's nice to just every once in a while have a short topic, record something. out there.
Yeah, and
So-
sometimes it's like, oh, I'm excited about this thing and I
Right
want to
now,
share it. And like, I forgot that I finished that sock arms. It's
Yep.
so cute. I really enjoyed making it.
Did the armholes like blow your mind?
Yeah. Oh,
Yeah.
yeah. It's very cool. I talked about it on one of my live things as I was making it, so you could see the one finished arm versus the not finished arm and how they looked very different. And then, you know, there's magic in there. Magic so, yeah.
Yes. So, yeah, thanks for joining us. Multiple ways to engage with us in real life or via these Instagram interactions. And
Yep. I gotta get home and eat.
you need to.
Bye.
Bye, Uvta.